Here we are.
Here we are.
How you doing, bro?
Good, Sam. How are you, man?
Good, man. I'm just wondering. I'm looking at my background here. It's a little bit dark. There's not enough depth for some reason.
You're all the depth there, mate. The depth is all with you, my friend.
May the depth be with you. Welcome, everybody.
What
to
the hell's going
Change
on?
Room.
The depth is all with you, my friend. Whoops.
Yes. Okay, so I'll take over right now before so Rash can actually get his act together. How's everyone? Welcome to the Change Room. We come here live on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Melbourne time and 1 p.m. Dubai time. And we talk about all things psychology, behavior, to do with life and relationships. Welcome back, Rash.
Thank you, mate.
Welcome to the show.
Keep going, man. Keep going, because I just realized what my problem was from last time, that I did the same problem. I had the YouTube going at the same time, and it created the effect.
The reverb, yeah.
Yeah. So carry on.
Yeah, no, I just did a quick intro, welcoming everybody to the Change Room. Today's episode is going to be on responsibility. What's your version of responsibility, Rash? Like, how would you define it?
Ooh, I like when you put me on the spot. A responsibility is taking ownership. That's the way I see it. I make a mistake or I do something good, I take responsibility. And that's standing up, even in adversity. So, and there's the thing I wanted to talk to you about, in the world of football, that, we had a guy kick over, at the end of the siren, and it was the Gov, and he missed, and he's the best kick, and we're all going, oh, he should have kicked it, etc. And they're all around him, but he's got to take responsibility for things like that. So that's the best way I could sort of describe it. What I think. What about you? And there's some comments here. I don't know if you want to put the comments up. Do you want to be in charge of comments or me today?
Well, both of us, really. I mean, responsibility to me really means, obviously having the ability to respond, but I think we need to build up that muscle because, typically speaking, a lot of people are like, would put the blame on external events, right? And it's very easy to do that and difficult not to do that when things are not going your way. So I feel that I see responsibility as building a muscle, a mental muscle, on your relationship with things around you. And it's probably very different to what people generally kind of see it as, but like people either have a problem with their partners, their spouses, their teammates, their colleagues, their peers, and it's very what's that word? It's very rare that you have people, like extremely rare, where you have people say, you know what, it's not their problem, it's my problem. And I think we should be having a serious discussion around that specifically when
And that's got to do with generation, like talk about getting too much, but let's put some comments. But generations, like probably our generation before, I'm going to tell you, Rocco's the guy of responsibility as an example. So new generation, that's probably where it's questionable, where will they take responsibility? You know what I mean? So yeah, a big hello to Gina, and our condolences. I heard Lana was telling me about her brother, so our condolences go out to you. We're sorry to hear that, and we hope you're okay and the family's okay. Hello, Rocco out there. One of our favorites here is Enzo Valentino, who's in the house, so which is really, really good. So big hello to Enzo. Yeah.
Good. So speaking more of responsibility, I think we should spend a little bit more time on that. Like I said,
why is it so important? Why is it so important? Let's just say responsibility for anything, whether it's sports, relationships, whatever. Yeah.
Sorry, did you just realize you just like abruptly cut me off there? Like seriously?
I do it often.
You did that on purpose?
Yeah, I know. And I did that hand movement.
Yeah, well, listen, I think we're talking about responsibilities. It's a serious matter in the sense that if you want something to work for you, then find out why it's not working and then
Yeah.
what you want to do about it. Like I said, I think generally speaking, big majority of people, and this is just my worldview or my opinion, and you may relate that there's, everyone puts the blame on something else. It has to be an external factor, and something outside of them. It's their bosses, their colleagues, their
The
teammates, whatever
government,
it
the
is.
market, etc. But
Yeah.
just a side note there is that when they put it on everyone else, when you're trying to say put it on yourself, for sure. When people do put it on themselves, also they can either go too deep and putting it on themselves and go into the depression. So we've got to be really
Fair point.
careful here. Really, really careful here on. I think in that case, your responsibility, if you want to talk about responsibility, is go out there and talk to someone that can actually help you. That's your responsibility.
Right. Well,
So
yes. I mean, you make a fair point, Rich. Actually, yeah. I mean, if you like, you don't want to kind of turn inwards and then hate yourself or condemn yourself or judge yourself so
yeah,
harshly. I just think that if you look in the context of like who we are to begin with as human beings, we're here to learn, we're here to evolve, we're here to better understand people around us, right?
yeah,
And so if you look at it through that context, then everything's a learning experience. Everything, like I, I can't possibly make the claim that I know every culture around the world, or every culture, and and you know and empathize
yeah,
without even learning about them. And I think
100%.
people are quick to judge about other people without really understanding where they're coming from, and then just say, listen, we've got some work to do. Listen, I need to ask more questions. I need to figure this thing out. But not very many
That's
people actually
responsibility.
have that kind of conversation. Not many people actually are willing to put in that time and effort to look within themselves, even if you've made a mistake, even if something felt so embarrassing. It's,
Yeah,
why do you feel embarrassed? Like, what about what you did frustrates you? What is it? Find out. Ask. Don't hate yourself for it. Don't condemn yourself for it, but just understand yourself. And then you'll start to build that, what I call the responsibility muscle. It's a mental muscle, that you could work on, because let's face it, when there's friction outside, or there's some tension, or things are not working out for you, that simply means you're not in alignment with it. There's something about that thing, or your relationship with that thing, that's not yet clear to you. You see what I mean? And that's
so how do
when
you make
people
it clear?
understand themselves, when people understand other people, it's by asking more questions. Like, why does that person feel that way?
Or the right
Has
question?
anyone, yeah, has anyone, occurred to you where you can ask those questions? Like I said, we're all learning about each other. We all have mood swings. We all have, certain incidences in our lives that don't go as planned. But ultimately, the technical reason behind that is we fell out of alignment with it.
Love that. Before we keep on going on that, there's a couple of things I wanted to announce. We'll do it at the start of the show and at the end of the show. Just some formalities. So I just want to put up the live show for the Jumper Punch. Those that are watching, we are on the Jumper Punch channel. We thank Rocco, Mars, and Polo. They do a magnificent job, and there's so many great shows that are on that platform. There is here, we have the Jumper Punch live show. Book your tickets. This is the live show number 2, 31st of the 8th, 2024, and sponsored by Blues Crypto, which leads me to the next one, which is Blues Crypto. Join the Blues Crypto Telegram and mention the Jumper Punch, or even mention us, the Change Room, and I'm sure our friend Urgan will send you some tokens. So yeah, there's a couple of things there just to mention. The last one was freaking amazing. So I think someone's asking if you're going to be there, mate, at the live show. Well, if we can do, yeah, I think that's for you or me. I'm not sure, but if that's for you, you can do a GoFundMe and people can sponsor you, and then you can maybe come see us, come see a couple of Carlton games while you're there. So yeah. All right, cool. So, sorry, I cut your train of thought. So maybe we could show a image. I think of the best way to explain about so responsibility. Give me that link of how that is got to do with cause and effect, right? And this is a term that we use in NLP, which stands for neuro linguistic programming. So we're not going to geek out too much on this, but everything's got a cause or root cause that results in an effect, right? Is that the best way to explain it? And maybe we can show an image, or do you want to explain a bit about that first before I go to the
Yeah,
image?
sure. Okay, so first of all, if anyone understands anything about NLP or neuro linguistic programming, basically it's come up with a very simple formula, and states there's a cause and an effect. Obviously, people who are listening who are more scientific would also be able to apply that method. When there's a cause, there's an equal or opposite effect, right?
Yeah.
But with human behavior, that same rule or law still applies, where you're the cause of everything that you do or that you don't do.
Sam,
Meaning, hello?
sorry. They're saying in the chat that they can't see you. So I'm going to remove you and then add you back in. For some reason, you're not coming on the screen.
Okay.
So let me just go remove. Let's go back. Okay. Is everyone able to see Sam now? Just give us the they can hear you, but they can't see you.
How about now?
Well, we'll wait for the chat to tell us. But carry on.
Okay.
Sorry, I interrupted you again.
Yeah. So, okay,
All
great.
good.
So, perfect. Enzo, I didn't forget your comment. I did see your comment. I think it's a really good comment, and we'll touch on that a little bit later.
We'll
Thanks
go
for your
through the
patience.
comments in a bit.
Yeah.
There's loads of really good comments.
Yeah, if I can just finish my sentence, that would be great, Rash. That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
of course you can.
So, moving on. When we said cause and effect, you're at cause, meaning everything that you do or say, or that you don't do or say, has a certain effect outside of you, right?
Yeah.
So if you're entering, for example, entering a meeting, and there's like 5 people in the meeting room, you enter. What you say will have an effect, have an influence um, um, to other people around you. Now, what you don't say also will have some sort of an effect. Okay, so I really want you to get that, because we look at that through the worlds of like coaching and therapy, where you're actually at a cause position, which means once you really understand that you being here doing what you're doing
Yeah.
will have some sort of an influence or an impact, obviously varying in degrees, but will play a role. Okay. And so if you constantly look at certain or external validation, feedback from your outside environment, people, then what that's doing is giving you a feedback of your cause. So if you said something, did something, take for example a play that you've seen on the Carlton Football Club.
Yeah.
Someone makes a play. That person is at cause. Now you could debate whether that was a good play or a bad play, but you being there doing what you're doing, or that player, sorry, will give a certain effect. Now
Of course.
that's the best way to put it in simplistic terms. And a lot of people don't get this, don't really get this. Like even in relationships, what you say to your partner or what you don't say sometimes will have a role, will have an influence on that other person. Have you ever had a relationship where you gave them the silent treatment? You didn't say anything, but you were there. Now, the other person is probably thinking, oh, hold on, they didn't say anything, which means maybe they don't find me important, or maybe they're trying to give me the cold shoulder, or maybe a whole, variety of reasons. So that means that you're giving an effect. There's an effect there. Okay, that's happening. Now, it may be something that's favorable to you, or maybe it isn't. But have you consciously did that? And a lot of people are unconsciously going about life, sports, relationships, business, you name it, thinking that, oh, look, I wasn't accepted here, or hey, look, they're embarrassing me, or look, I've lost this again. Take a look at what's happening around you. This is giving you feedback, okay? Because you are the pivotal person in that environment. Okay, and the way you receive it is going to dictate what you're going to do afterwards, which is where responsibility comes in. It's exercising your ability to respond in a particular situation. So if things are not working out your way, then ask yourself, what do I need to learn from that experience or that event that I need to change where it gets better? Like, what do I need to change? Okay, sometimes you don't have to change anything. But if something is not working, then clearly do something else.
Dude, seriously, you're popping the wisdom today, big time, big time. Just one thing, I didn't want to interrupt you because I've interrupted you too many times. When you said when someone gives you a silent treatment, just let's be aware. Sorry, I'm not trying to correct you here, but just like sometimes it's your own perception, right? That person could be having a bad day. It's not personal. There's a whole bunch of different things. So I just wanted to make that clear. But taking responsibility, yeah, well, I mean, I can give you tons of stories that both of us, we've dealt with teenagers and stuff where we've coached them and you can say, well, they need to take responsibility, but then the parents, every time they wanted to have a vape or cigarette or wanted to go out or a whole bunch, gave no responsibility as a parent. And guess what?
Yeah.
Your kid comes out with a whole bunch of different things. So
Can you pop up the that image?
just
Maybe
for information, he just interrupted me here, but that's fine. I'm gonna pop it up here. All right, go. Read that out.
So basically, okay, so for those who like, definitions, NLP, cause and effect, refers to a language or communication pattern between different elements within oneself. It is the idea that one thing inevitably leads to another or has an impact on something else. Many times, people tend to blame external factors for their inability to accomplish something.
And do you want me to add the next vision?
Yeah.
The next thing?
Yeah.
There
Perfect.
we go.
So basically, this is just a simple diagram, okay? We just feel that everything that's simple to remember, simple to look at, is something, that you could remember. But when you get certain thoughts, those thoughts give you certain feelings, and those feelings give a certain behavior, okay? So basically, what we're saying when we say cause and effect is, do you have the conscious responsibility to monitor your thoughts or your thinking? If you have negative thoughts, then it's very likely it's going to show up in the feelings and your behavior. If you have more positive thoughts, that positive thinking will make its way to your emotions and how you feel and then how you behave. It's all linked together, and that's what we mean by cause and effect. You're the cause and it gives a certain effect. Does that make sense? Give us like a thumbs up or something in the comments.
There's a lot of comments.
That you follow
Go
this.
through comments, but I've got some big news. You know that interview we're trying to organize?
Yes.
It's almost there, and I want to. Can I announce it or not yet? But all right, let me just, and then we'll go into the comments, guys. I've been working with those who know the Jumper Punch. I've been working with Vince Lozano to try and get Ken Hunter. He's a premiership player. He's a great of Carlton onto this show because he works on mental health and stuff like that. So
that'd be great.
I'm super excited here because I'm like a little kid because I was a big fan. Love his number 9 and Vince told me he sounds like he's interested, so he's going to give me a call. So I'm like, he's going to call me and hopefully, fingers crossed, if I can hook it up, might get it on for next week. But I'd want to really push that, promote that, and get him on. But we're definitely. Here's a good example of the cause that you and I discussed it, and then said, why don't we try and get this guy on here? And he's a Carlton legend, and the effect is we'll soon find out if he's going to be on the show. I'd love to know in the comments if you think it's a great idea because he's an absolute legend of a guy. So yeah, so go through your comments. I'm just harping about Kenny Hunter, and I'm very excited. Oh, I can't wait till he calls. Go.
Want to read this one? You want to read this one?
Yeah. Big hello to Wayne, always a big fan of the show, and we're a fan of him too. So I always thought that you could show me how to do this better. Show me, and we will try it out and see. Love that. So not just telling someone what to do, but showing that person what to do and then that person takes the responsibility. Is that what we're saying? And then learns. I think
Yeah.
that's the best way of learning. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There's another comment from Gina. I think you put up, and a big hello to Petra Khan that's in the chat, and a big hello to Frank. He's come back again, which is great. So
I also want to jump. Sorry, Rash. I just want to jump on Wayne's comment. Thank you, Wayne, for your comment. Yeah, I mean, showing is obviously the best thing. We love showing demonstrations. I don't know if you caught us last week. We were doing a demonstration. It was a little bit more hypnotic in nature, but yeah, of course, if we show it, show someone. But when it comes to like responsibility and like this cause and effect formula, it's like, how do we show it, right? It's something that you need to experience by simply asking yourself, is your environment or the feedback you're getting or where you are in life right now, is it going the way you'd like it to go? Okay, now that could be in the form of your relationships or the outcomes that you're seeing. By asking yourself just a simple question, is this what I wanted, is going to be a quick telltale sign if you're at cause and what you can do about it, by just simply asking yourself. Because like I said, if something is not materializing, you're not seeing the external elements change outside of you based on your behavior, then it's going to be a quick surefire way by uncovering that there must be something that you may be doing, saying, that's out of alignment with whatever it is outside of you. So if it's a certain relationship that you're having with someone else, or the idea that certain things frustrate you all of the time or most of the time, then there's something within that relationship between the way you think about that thing, that's out of alignment, something that you can inquire by asking yourself some more questions. Like, why is it that you feel a specific way when you see that person, or when you get the results from that game, or etc. You apply it wherever you like. But that would be a good telltale sign to start with, if that answers your question.
All right, so that's good. There's tons of comments. Thank you guys for the comments. We're gonna start throwing them up. Sam, one for you, just one for you, because you're on fire today. Love it. You don't have your blues hat on, but you're on fire. No, there's no monologue. There's
It's blue. Go Blues.
All right. All right, Sam. So cause and effect. What happens in the case where you get your partner leaves you, or you're at a job and you're working and it's completely out of your hands? The head office overseas says, that's right, we need to cut people, and you're on the effect of the cause, which is not your cause, right? So it's all good and proper than what we're saying at the moment. Well, what happens in the case where it's completely out of your hands?
Well, listen,
you know what I'm saying? Because everything's cause and effect, but it's caused from them. But the effect is that you're affected.
Good question. But like they say, whenever there's a problem, you find yourself there, right?
Yeah. What's that comment? We heard it. Haven't you noticed that every time there's a problem, you're there? Look in the mirror. But sometimes the things are out of your control. That's the point. This is what I'm trying to say.
But is it?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It is. No, I think it is.
Hold on, hold your horses. Listen, I mean, we could talk about so many things, gets people thinking. Everyone's in different situations in their life, right? Either personal relationships, business relationships, whatever it is, the income, you name it. And it's very easy to look out those external factors, and unknowingly, you may think that you had nothing to do with it. But there is something there. I come from the worldview that there is something there that it's trying to teach us within ourselves.
No, I agree. Okay? I agree. But what I'm saying is that cause was not from you per se, right?
So then it's unconscious to you. Then you're unconscious to that.
No, but you lose your job. No, Sam, you lose your job, right? And the head office says, whatever, you've done the best you can, and that's it. They want to do, cuts. Okay. So there's an effect there. The cause has happened from out of your control, but still there's a cause and effect. That's all I wanted to sort of like.
Sure is. It sure is. But sometimes there are reasons behind that. Like if there are budget cuts and they're going to be, firing or laying off people that have the highest salaries, well, then that could be because of that. There's many reasons why. It's just incumbent upon us to ask ourselves, it's instead of just saying, and easy to say it's their fault, to say, hold on, take that responsibility for a moment and just ask yourself, maybe they had to do it because of budget cuts. Maybe they had to do it because they have a different vision for the company. Maybe they
fair.
had to do it because, you didn't come to the table with unique ideas, even though that was your job to originally. Who knows? There's so many ideas and situations that we don't want to single out anything
I
specific.
got it.
It's just that when you're there and that happens to you, it's unfortunate, but there's always things to learn from it. Hence, building your responsibility muscle.
Exactly. Hence, then the next point is then take responsibility and go find another job or find
Could be.
something else to learn
It
out
could
of
be
it.
the best thing. Listen, it could be the best thing. I know someone who was good friends with his buddy, and they were like super close, very, very close, just like you and I, Rash. And
Yeah.
then there was one day where they didn't see eye to eye, and they had to part ways, and it's happened with other relationships as well, in business and personal. And when they asked them after like 5 years, they said that was one of the best things that ever happened to me and to him, because we both kind of flourished in our own worlds. It's unfortunate sometimes we have to hear those, kind of bitter, um, bitter situations where people part ways, but sometimes it's needed.
Sam, love it. Today you're on fire, because before the show he was saying he was complaining a little, not complaining, but he wasn't in, but you're in the zone completely. Listen, there's some comments here. I'm just going to start putting them up. I heard Kenny speak about depression, how he struggled, but then worked through it. Kenny's going to be a wonderful, wonderful interview. Fingers crossed that we get him. I'm pretty sure that we will get him, and I'm waiting for the call. So if it's going to be on, it'll probably be on this week. That we'll get next Thursday. We'll get him live, and then we can promote it on the Jumper Punch. I'm sure Rocco will help us on that. If not, then it'll be the week after, depending on Mr. Hunter's time. All right. There's some comments here. Also, there's one from Rocco, taking all this in. Love the way you guys dissect and explain stuff. Here from our friend Gina. It's like a bubble, though you can control the inside, not the outside. So don't worry about the outside. I like that.
Listen,
good.
Here we go. Enzo had a beautiful comment. I promised him that it will pop up his comment, because I did spot it. And he says, my dad taught me that my responsibility is to respect everyone, but then sometimes I forget myself.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. I think reading that comment, first of all, I kind of feel like I really know you, Enzo, to a very large degree. And it's just because you're the helpful type, you're the caring type. That's what I see when I read a statement like that. And there are people like that, where people, get trampled on, unfortunately, or take advantage of sometimes, and even in business settings where their boundaries haven't been made clear. Obviously, there's something else deeper, behind that. But again, my quick reply to that is like boundaries. You take on all that responsibility, and sometimes you do it on your expense. And that may mean that you're expending too much energy and focusing on people that otherwise probably don't need that. You know what I mean? Because you're just giving them maybe too much, and there are no boundaries or enough boundaries in place. But this is a perfect example of going over and beyond, being responsible for so many different things. But part of being responsible, by the way, and I think we should point it out, is also knowing when to put boundaries. And that's also being responsible.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Look, there's some more comments. I think we should go through the comments. There's this one. There's no stupid questions, only answers. Actually, like that.
That's cool. That is cool, Wayne. 100%. I'm so in line with that.
I've changed our sides, by the way, because Lana's asking me we're right the wrong sides. I don't know what was happening with. Oh my God.
Here's one from Lana. Why do we allow other people's opinions to affect us so much? Why do you, Lana?
That's it. That's all your answer is going to be.
I threw a question back. Like we allow it to, I mean, the answer is kind of somewhat in that question. Whereas
That's
why do
true.
we allow it to? Because we've allowed it to. You've allowed it to. Remember, you're responsible, you're at cause, which means
Yeah,
that
that's
it
right.
needs your permission, right? It needs your permission first.
And
And
you
so
can
when you
allow it
allow
not
it,
to. And you can allow it not to.
100%.
That's the thing. Usually it's harder when it's family, okay? Because there's when it's a family, it's a mom, it's a sister, it's a brother, it's a cousin, or a wife.
Oh, here's another good one by Lana as well. Wow, Lana's on a roll.
She hasn't been here.
Appreciate
We got
you.
to get her on the show. We should get her on the show. We should
And
get
here's
her on.
another one. So, or why do we remember negative comments more than the good ones? Because, I mean, this is just a quick, rapid fire answer, but I think we do because it's a survival response that we all have as human beings. We always remember the negative stuff because that, is something that we should remember for safety. Did we, piss anyone off? Did we say something we're not supposed to? We always try to fit in. So it's always the negative comments or the negative behaviors that we remember the most to keep us on guard. And this dates back to, the caveman days, but now that we have communication, it's always the negative comments that stick in our mind the most, and very rarely the positive ones. So when someone says, be positive, the first thing on people's minds are, don't tell me to be positive. How can we be positive when all this shit's happening around us, right? We always default to a negative so quickly that we don't even give it ourselves time to process it.
Can I just say 99% of the national news that we watch is negative.
Has to be negative. You know why? Because that's what gets ratings. That's why the news is so fucked up. That's why you get ratings. People won't watch
There's a
it. If it's
comment
not
here
negative.
from Petra I wanted to put up also. Big hello to Petra Khan. Negative mindsets also affect the body, disease, and immune system. We could do a topic about this. I've got some videos that show the power of. We've even done things where. Do you remember that one that we did together? Where if we look at someone, let's say as an experiment, we get 5 people to look at one person and have negative thoughts, right? And how that can affect someone else's body.
Yeah.
And that works for sports, business. You get negativity. Oh my God. It's, as they say, it could be catastrophe. So yeah, there's so many comments here. I don't know.
Man, the comment section is blowing up big time.
It's on fire.
That's it.
Here's one from cousin Sammy. Everything has a reason with what happens in life. For a door to open, a door needs to close. Very, very wise words.
Yeah.
Great. We need to get you into Melbourne, my friend. Seriously. Yeah. For this Jumper Punch Live. Maybe we'll talk to the guys at Blue Crypto and get you in there and we can do on the Jumper Punch.
Maybe we do a full session, like an open room, like a full open room, like 500 people or something, and do a whole session.
What, like hypnosis, or work on someone that's got a major problem and do a demonstration there and then?
Everything. We'll talk about that for performance, for relationships. We'll break it down and hold like maybe a 4-hour or 5-hour session. That'd be awesome. I'm in.
Okay, there's some comments here. Sorry to cut you off there, but there's a comment here from Wayne. I missed it because you've gone from other ones, and there's one from Frank that I want to show. But here is, unfortunately, we do not have all control over situations. So my the advice I give is that 6 months income is safe to take pressure off, because you want to be employed for at least 6 months. Oh, you want be? Yeah, okay. I think you can read into that. Well, it's a strategy for sure. And what, as they say, even in football, those that watch, they're watching here, we can only control what we can control, and what we can't control, we can't control. So yeah. And then there's just this one
if that
here.
Works.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, like you said, sorry, Rash, but you said it was a strategy. That's what it is exactly. I think that's a perfect word when you said that. When we come up with a certain behavior or model or what's that word? An approach towards something, that would be your strategy. If that works for you, then you've taken that decision to do that.
Okay.
If it works for you, and it's okay. Yeah.
Can I just say, this is a good one from Frank. Frank's probably saying about the same thing that happened to me after working together. We must have worked somewhere for 31 years, couldn't see eye to eye, had to be strong and move on. That's the key word. And I wanted to say with responsibility, what's the quote from Spider-Man? If,
With great strength comes great responsibility, or great powers comes great responsibility. Yeah.
And it is a power, to have responsibility, and you have to be courageous, so don't want to up around about the Blues, but they got to take responsibility, just like anyone else. They got to take responsibility. That's the best way to own up.
How many games did they lose already?
Let's not talk about it.
I hit a nerve.
4 out of 5.
I hit a nerve.
4 out of 5. They can't see me now, so I'm going to hop out and come back in.
Yeah. So as we wait for Rash
can you
to pop
see
back
me
in,
now?
and here we are. Yep. Too many. Enzo says too many. Yeah. Well, there comes a time. Well, I think we were talking about losses. So he said too many. So there comes a time when you got to point that, finger back at yourself and say, hold on, what is it that we're doing that's not working? And that's what we're talking about.
Everyone's saying they can't see me at the moment. And then I like this comment here. Rash's superpower is invisibility. Guys, can you see me now? Sorry. I know it's technical.
Dude, that's not really a compliment, eh? Just so you know.
I take it as a compliment. Can they see me? Tell me if you can see me, guys. Just quick, give me a thumbs up if you can see me. Oh my God. What's going on, mate? Give you the controls and all of a sudden.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You've been having the controls from the beginning of the session. Beginning of the pod.
Okay.
So where do you want to move towards, Rash? Like, what's something that?
I just wanted to, I think we've covered it. I mean, look, I think we, cause and effect, and everything's got a root cause, and some things are out of your control and control what you can control. I mean, this is the message out of today, and what I wanted to get is the thoughts, feelings, and action, which we discussed. So your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings create a behavior, and that gives you the result. So that's the key messaging, what I want to say out of today. And probably the other thing is just that with the new generation of kids these days, they don't want to be responsible. And I'm saying generally, okay, not all. But in our days, and some might say it's a little bit harsh. And if you listen to a couple of Rocco stories where he used to cop the shoe or, get a beating or stuff like that. Not that I'm, saying that that's the best way to do it, but there was a lot more respect, and we learned that we had to stand up for ourselves and do things. It was a different time. So
I wanted to take a little bit of a.
Huh?
Yeah, I wanted to take a bit of a detour to move beyond what someone could do to take on more responsibility and start to create, a better life, a better result, so to speak. And I think that's really where your imagination should kick in.
Yeah,
it's that time when you were like a child, right, and you used to come up with like, toys to play with and games to play and stuff like that. So to move into a space that I invite you to consider would be something like practicing your imagination. Start imagining better outcomes, right? Asking yourself, what do you want, not what you don't want. A lot of people have this continuous kind of feedback loop going on in the back of their mind saying what they don't want. I don't want someone to talk to me in this way. I don't want to pay more taxes. I don't want to lose again. I don't want
to lose the job, whatever.
And start using a different, language model by using your imagination. What do you want? What does this outcome look like to you? What does good health look like to you and feel like to you? What is it that you want? Get creative. And the more creative you find yourself, the better results will start to show up slowly. Everything like serendipity, what is that word? Serendipitously, things will start to appear, right? Because you have a different frame. And that's where responsibility really, really kicks in pretty quickly. You'll start to know that you are the cause for whatever it is, good or bad, that happens outside of you. And I think that's where people lose themselves a little bit, because they don't feel that they're empowered. They don't feel that they're empowered. So when you start to look at life through that lens, things change pretty fast. Things change fast. Okay, I'll give you an example. There's someone I used to actually meet. I didn't particularly like, okay, that person specifically,
Yeah.
but I had to put up with him, for that meeting. Okay. And then just before that meeting, I said to myself, I said, hold on. I know I'm going to see this person again. Let's call him
Jack.
No, we're not going to call him Rich. I was thinking about Rich, but let's call him Jack. Yeah,
Jack.
let's think about Jack. So I'm going to meet Jack. And usually whenever I meet Jack, I get these jitters inside, like it doesn't make me feel pretty good. He's not a great person to meet, he's still an okay guy, but, not my cup of tea. So I said to myself, for this meeting, just before entering the meeting, I said, I'm going to change it up. Okay. I'm going to actually pretend. Okay. And the key focus here is pretend that I'm going to like Jack, and I'm going to like what he has to say. And I'm sure he's going to find a solution. Okay. So I went in with that perception. That's my cause, right?
Mindset. Yeah.
And that mindset, that meeting actually was very different to previous meetings. Even Jack said, something's changed. Something's different. I don't know what it is, but something's different. Now, I'm not saying that it was like a super fantastic meeting, but it was a pretty good meeting. It was pretty productive. And that was my validation. That was just one of the instances that happened in my life where it was validated. It was like, wow, this was not expected. But I went in pretending. I took on the frame, that cause, that things were going to be different. And they were different. They were. Now, here's an exercise for you. Don't believe anything that we say. Just put it to the test.
Okay.
Go back to something that you used to do, people used to meet, and just before you meet them or before you experience what you're going to experience, just ask yourself, how would you like that outcome to be instead? Okay. And see what you get. Okay. And the more you play with your imagination by creating, even if you pretend it, by the way, things will start to shift. Okay. It could be a relationship, could be a game. It could be
in sports. They do it, Sam. In sports, I know the woman that Dr. Emma Murray that did the coaching for Richmond, and she would tell them to pretend and do visualization and say, pretend you've got it, you've got the cup, you've won it, you've done that, all that pretending sort of stuff that goes out. How many times have you was that experiment that we talked about? I think we talked about it on the show, where when they're doing basketball training, right? So someone's actually shooting the ball and someone's pretending to shoot. Practice.
Yes.
And then they put them together, and it's like it's almost the same, if not better, when they're pretending that they're getting it in. It's crazy shit.
It's crazy. That's why I keep telling people, don't believe any word of this. Just put it to the test and let us know. Let us know. I would really seriously like to invite you to let us know next week in the comments, because I noticed obviously some familiar names and faces, how it worked out for you. Okay. Specifically put it to the test when you think it's not going to work out. Okay. But just enter that experience or that situation with a frame of mind that, you know what, I'm just going to do the complete opposite. Okay. I'm going to expect this to work out extremely well. Okay.
So can I do that? Can I do that for the Blues this week and think they're going to win the game?
Give it a shot. You never know.
But it's out of my control.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Maybe that positive energy strives them.
Give it a shot.
Can I just say, because we've got a really great audience in here today, we've been saying it for the last few weeks. Guys, we had Paolo on the show about a month ago. We really, really want to add someone on the show and get them on the live stream and talk to them and maybe help someone out. And if they're willing to, what's the word, Sam? Help me out. Willing to go on the show. And I mean, it takes a bit of vulnerability, which is the subject for us. But, And I know Lana put her hand up a few weeks ago, but she went disappearing. So she because the time we changed the time and stuff. But let's go out there and I mean, wherever we can tackle and give you some sort of advice, you coming up or discussing something is something that can help other people that are watching, and that's the whole point of it. This is yeah. I love Carlton. You love him, and it's a show, but ultimately our show is education, and we're nerds about the brain and the way brain thinks, and we've helped a lot of people deal with a lot of things, and things like anxiety, fears, guilt, sadness, anger, the whole bunch of these negative emotions that just pile up and pile up and pile up. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say it confidently, we can help. 100% we can help, and we're willing to give it to our community. Yeah.
And not only that, I also want to add, Rush, that's perfectly said, but I also want to add that people are not having enough conversations about this. And that's why we were so psyched up and excited about talking about these situations, and from psychology, from NLP, from hypnosis, on how people can lead and live a better life. You know what I mean? By just learning how to think differently. That's all that it is. If you have and are joining us with an open mind to embrace, something else, something new, right? Because like they say, you don't know what you don't know until you actually learn something new and apply it. We keep telling people almost every episode, Rash, right? That don't believe us, just put it to the test, and let us know what it's done.
There's our Instagrams. Guys, in the chat, mark this down, follow us, send us a message, direct message. I can't promise you go on next week because we might get Kenny Hunter on next week, okay? So if it's not next week, and Kenny Hunter is going to be a very special show. So and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get him. If it's not next week, I promise you the following week. And before we do something, the reason why I'm asking that we meet up prior and we have a chat, Sam and I will jump on a Zoom with you guys, is that we want to ascertain whether or not you're coachable. Because you coming up onto the show, we both of us, we expect 99, 100% results positive, okay? So from the outset, we'll tell you, it would probably be better to do it behind the scenes, whether you're coachable or not coachable, and then do a technique or techniques and give you a different way of, like what you were saying, different questions, because we've got a different perspective to help you get through whatever you're going through, okay? Aside from the pain with what's happening with the blues, but other stuff that you're going through. So how does that sound? Send us comments. Look, follow us on Instagram. You want to come on? If it's not next week, it'll be the following week. Next week, fingers crossed, we're going to get Kenny Hunter on. Okay. So let me just get rid of that. All right. We got there has been so many comments. So I'm so sorry that we haven't put. There's a couple of comments by Petrokanda I think we should put up. Gina's put some comments.
Great comments.
Saying, let's talk. So let's talk. Send us a message. Okay.
We're trying to keep up with them. We're trying to keep up with all the comments, to be honest.
I'm so sorry, guys. This is probably the busiest that we've had the most comments, and this is absolutely amazing. Yeah.
There must be over like 100 comments already, easily.
More.
So that's crazy. No, that's amazing. It actually shows us that like you're watching, and that it's hopefully interesting for you and stuff like that. We want to deliver value as much as we can, but we also are, kind of mindful of the fact that we need to kind of move on from topic to topic, or talk about things as well to make it more of a diverse show as possible, more enriching and stuff like that.
Can I just say that if we do get Kenny Hunter on next week,
get your questions ready.
Get your questions ready, because those that know him and a lot of the older people, I mean, I've met him once before. He probably won't remember me. It was at a family day, but he's such a nice, humble guy. A great, courageous player. Took a lot of responsibility if we're talking about that show. And he does a lot of things. His company is a non-profit. I think it's called The Fifth Quarter. And I'm so looking forward to it. Please, guys, we're going to promote it on the Jumper Punch channel once we get a confirmation. And if he does come on, get your questions ready. And, aside from fan stuff, I mean, we all, those that know him, love him. Get questions ready, because I reckon that's going to be an episode you can't miss.
Yeah, Rash, listen, very quickly, I want to give a shout out to our, people that have just joined us for the first time. Richard B. Flat, said this is my first time tuning in, not to share his comment. Really interesting. Definitely keep tuning in. Awesome. Thank you very much,
Sounds like
Richard,
he's a
for
music
tuning
guy
in,
too.
sharing your time with us.
Because I'm a music guy. All right. There's a couple of things. Let me go through, as we probably should wrap up. Let me go through some of our formalities.
Can you believe that we've actually covered like close to almost an hour of this content, just talking about responsibility?
Yeah,
Wow.
there was a comment. Whilst I get the formalities, there's a comment from Petra Khan you need to check out, and Enzo Valentino. So try and find that while I find the next banners and get it ready for us, please.
I'm gonna get this one on. Petra, you always join us every week. Thank you for joining us. Your comments are amazing. You know, it makes us think as well, which is great. So he says here, I carry my pain and negativity on my left shoulder as a reminder. I can't flick it off. It's part of me. Okay. So that's the way you structure it. You know, that's the way you position it in your mind. You know, and there was another comment about there has to be some negative. Yeah, there has to be some negative to get some positive. And
we should get him on the show.
I resonate with that comment a lot because I subscribe to the yin yang model of life, if you want to call it that, for lack of a better word. That there's a certain degree of, pain maybe, or negativity that balances out. So you don't know what's valuable about something when you've experienced a lack thereof. You know, so if you experience lack, then you would appreciate abundance a lot. So there's something about that I definitely subscribe to in life. So correct me if I'm wrong, Petra, in reading your comment in that way. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you meant, but I do have my own version of pain or negativity that I don't like to celebrate, but I like to learn from, and I like to, carry it close to me because it makes me value the positive stuff out of life tremendously. So that's what I got.
Why can't it be on the right shoulder? And then if you can point to it, we can get rid of it too. That's another point.
Maybe he doesn't want to, but Rash, maybe he doesn't want to. It's just like I said, it's a statement or figure of speech, and it's not wrong to. I mean, there was a comment as well. I think it was from Gina.
There's a really good comment from Enzo. Okay.
But Gina said, sorry, before you jump on, Rash, I just want you to focus on Gina's comment as well, because she had a loss as well, right? Yeah. I think it was Gina who had a loss. So, so what do we say? We say, well, first of all, sorry for your loss, Gina. And there's just some experiences in life we just have to sit with and appreciate. The life that was, that we found dear to us, that's close to us. And it's at that point, perhaps, that kind of grief is also a learning mechanism that will help us come to terms with our, mortality. And that's also important. So there's nothing wrong with letting, anything go,
But you got to grieve. You got to grieve. You have to grieve. And I think that's important to grieve.
But it's a learning process.
Grieving is important. And those that have experienced that, my story, Sam. Those who don't know, I lost both parents within 3 months in my 20s, about 20 years ago. So so that was really, really tough for me. And within 3 months, both parents, mum, dad. But it gave me the biggest lessons that I took responsibility at that age to, I don't think I would have moved to Dubai if they were still alive. So there's things that have happened in my life that I appreciate based on that. And that's completely out of my control. But one thing I wanted to say also, just a final point, and you can go through the comments, is that the guy that kicked the ball at the last shot, those that are watching, the guy's got to take responsibility for missing that shot. He's got to take it. Now, it'll be interesting to see how he follows up this week, right? Because that could actually spiral him to the negative, or that could say, I'll never let that happen again, right? And I'm going to be better out of this. And that can inspire the whole team, right? Because the way when he missed it, what I was really impressed in, and I'm sure guys sent it in the comments, is that the whole team went up to him and supported him and said, it's okay, man. It's totally fine. It's fine. We're with you. It's okay. You missed it, but next time. And I was just like, wow. They didn't let him go. You know what I mean? Anyway, any more comments? There's loads of comments because I want to go through the formalities. Do you want to go through? There was one from Enzo.
No, I think we're kind of almost coming up to date. on that, and I'm glad to hear Gina she has a really nice comment on there's negativity brings so much positivity. Also, yes,
100%. Yeah.
So I definitely subscribe to that, and 100%.
Who's going to come on next week? Maybe we should. Or was it? Whole team needs to take responsibility for the way they played. You can rely on one person. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, the captain, the leader, I'm going to say he's got big calions, which is balls. He takes responsibility every week, without doubt, man. He just goes for it. He's an absolute legend and leader. So if that's not enough to spur them, then you know what? It's just like anything. It's back to the walls. Is it the beginning or is it the end? What are we going to do about it, right? And maybe that's the thing that needs to pivot them, which is your word, to go to the next level and say, right, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, speaking
on
pivoting.
What I like is what they're saying is just last point on that is they're saying there's another chapter to be written. And that's been the comments throughout the whole week. And I love that because it's saying, hey, it's not over. There's another chapter. So this could be a wonderful chapter. Go, talk to me, Sam.
No, I think it's great. I think the chat box is on fire, which is great. Appreciate all your comments once again, guys. It's really giving us something to, some meat on the bone to talk about, and I hope everyone's taken enough value from this. We love talking about this. Gina asks, what's next week's topic?
Could be Kenny Hunter. It could be Ken Hunter. That's the point. So it could be Kenny Hunter.
Yeah. That would be amazing. And that's about it, really. I mean, we were chatting about responsibility. I also want to kind of end with something like this. I know the beginning of whatever it is, someone's going through could be bitter, could be, not something that you want, but it doesn't mean the ending has to be the same.
All right. So let me go through the formalities. I love that, Sam. You're dropping bombs today. Here we go. First one here. Jumper Punch live show, 31st, the 8th, 24. 31st is this month. Sponsored by Blues Crypto, the fan token. Go out and see this live show. It is, I'm going to say the word, it's fucking awesome. I went to the first one. Those who went, they can also, agree that this is a wonderful live show. You see the boys of the Jumper Punch, Paulo, Mars, and The Rock, and it's something not to be missed. Watch the show on Tuesday. You work out, or go. I think the info at Jumper Punch on their Tuesday night. So the other shows that we have is Blue Sunday on Sundays with the Hyphen, Joe from Bangkok, and Vince. The Jumper Punch channel on Tuesday, and now they've got Double, and they've got Forever Rivals on Wednesday. I keep on getting them all messed up, and we're on every Thursday. Next week, we're going to have, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to have Kenny Hunter. Couple more things. This is my book that I'm releasing. It's called For the Record and Off the Record, Leadership Lessons from the World of Music. I've got some killer stories in here. So it's going to be out on the 20th of August. We'll have a link. I think it's in our channel. So on the YouTube, you'll see in the description, there's a link there for the book. So if you want to pre-order, and it's coming out on my daughter's birthday on the 20th. So it's her birthday 18th, and it's my little present to her, aside from other presents. But yeah. Is there anything else? Oh yeah. I think we'll finish off with a video that you sent in.
Yeah.
Sam was sending me a video. It's like, I love this. It's so Aussie, right?
That's perfect.
It's probably a good thing, isn't it?
It fits in. Yeah, it kind of fits into the cause and effect discussion we had today on responsibility in a way, but it's a little bit of humor. Hope you enjoy it. I definitely enjoyed it. I found it really funny. So pop it on.
All right, hold on. So let me just pop this on, and then from us, we'll finish up after this. So as we always do, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Go Blues.
And we'll just show this. Sam's fascinated about it as being a Canadian, North American. He's going, what the hell is going on? So watch this. It's been a pleasure having you. Today's been an amazing episode. We thank you so, so much, really. And we hope that you get value out of this. And please come on to the next show. Come up. We invite you. Take the responsibility. Come on the show. Whatever you got, help others to learn. We're all about spreading the love and information. On that note, we've said go the Blues. You've been watching The Change Room, mindful chats for the game of life. This is a video that Sam put up that he found fascinating. I think you will like it, guys, and you guys know who this is.
Aussie language is a naturally smart-ass language. Like, you ask someone how they are in Australia, they don't tell you how they are. They tell you what they're not. And you got to guess the rest. Okay, mate, how you going? Oh, not bad. What have you been doing? Oh, not much. Where is this place? Oh, it's not far. When are we going? Oh, not long now. How much was that, mate? Wasn't cheap. This old bloke who lives next door to me, he only ever tells me part of a story. Saw him the other day, go, how you going, Johnny? He goes, not feeling too bloody good, mate. I'll tell you that much.